I'm starting to. Good morning, everyone. My name is Angie, and I am the founder and executive director of the Dominican Writers Association. We are here every Sunday at the Writer Salon. This is the space that has persisted for 5 years. I was just telling our alumni we're about to be 5 years in March. The salon was started by about five women who wanted community. They had taken a writing workshop that we hosted. And when we ended the workshop, they were just devastated because they had found community within the participants of the writing workshop. And then one of them brought up, how could we continue this community space, right? So I've been for years opening the doors of my apartment. I used to host open mics in my apartment in the Bronx. Used to have strangers come in, sit in the kitchen and in the hallway, in the living room, everywhere. I did that for like an entire year, just in my space. And then when folks wanted to start the writing salon, I opened the doors every Sunday for folks that wanted to come in for writing workshops. So I would invite, I think Calavis came around. I don't know if you guys follow her. She's a Dominican author. She wrote the book Neruda in the Park. If you haven't read it, please go read it. She came to my apartment and gave writing workshops, and folks, we did that for like a month before the pandemic hit. And then it became a virtual space. And then during the pandemic, we hosted mental health workshops, therapy writing workshops. And since then, we have been hosting every Sunday a free writing workshop for our community. And for those of you who have been here, who haven't been here before, it's different genres, different facilitators. Um, you'll see a lot of familiar faces come back every Sunday. It's a great space for you to create community as well. So we always encourage you that even if you don't feel like writing or you're new to this, and you're trying to find inspiration, this is the best place for you to do so. Okay. So even if you're not you don't need to be a professional writer, you could just be journaling, you could just be scribbling little things. And trust me, one of these workshops is going to inspire you. I was at an open mic on Friday, and Leslie said, "Oh, you know that event we went to, the open mic for Dia de los Muertos? I'm actually writing a project for my family where she's interviewing them." And I'm like, "Oh my God, that was just an open mic where we gave you, these prompts and inspire you, and then something clicked for her, and she was like, she ran with it, right?" So we have a lot of folks who that happens for. Um, so yeah, folks, let's write with. Let me remind you, all these workshops are recorded. So if you're not comfortable being on camera, please turn it off. We share it on our YouTube channel. For folks who missed it, we have a playlist of previous workshops that you could access as well. You just go on the Dominican Writers YouTube channel, and you could look up the playlist, or I could also just send it to you. Okay. So today's workshop is mostly based on Bell Hooks and her works, right? So for those of you who do not know, Bell Hooks understood that writing is inherently a political act. For her, putting words to paper was a way to disrupt the silence, challenge injustice, and assert one's inhumanity in a world that often seeks to erase it. All right. So Hooks often wrote about how systems of oppression, racism, sexism, capitalism relies on silence to maintain power, which I think is happening with this term, right? The civil all the civil rights agency have been closed down, I believe. And think of what falls under those civil rights agency, right? You have immigration, you have abortion, you have freedom of speech. There's so many things that fall under civil rights, right? And the fact that they're putting a stop to these agencies from working means that we have more limited spaces where we can complain about injustices. right? Which is horrible, which means that it's a form of oppression. It's like, be quiet, just deal with it, and this is what's going down, whether you want it or not, right? So Hooks often wrote about, I mentioned that, from she has a book called Talking Back, Thinking Feminist and Thinking Black, right? Where there's a quote that says, for us, true speaking is not solely an expression of creative power. It is an act of resistance, a political gesture that challenges the politics of domination that would render us nameless and voiceless, right? So writing is a way to reclaim our experiences, our truths, our narratives, especially in systems that try to control or distort them. Um, so we could talk about, envisioning a world beyond domination, right? One rooted in love and freedom. Hooks believes that storytelling is a tool, not just for critique, but for creating the future we want to live in. So think about, what does the phrase writing as resistance mean to you, right? Have you ever used writing, journaling, poetry, or any other form as a way to push back against something in your life or your world, right? You could just write that down. You don't need to share at the moment, right? And think of a time when writing also helped you break silence, either by sharing something difficult or expressing something the world didn't want to hear. Many of us experience that with our family, sharing something that probably our family wanted to keep a secret, didn't want us to put out there in the world. We might put it in a book, people read it, and they're like, oh my God, how dare you put that in a book, right? So why do you think silence can be so powerful, and what happens when we challenge it through writing? Where's mine?
Angie, is there a presentation
Yes,
that you're
I'm
doing?
putting that up right now. Okay, let me know if you can see it. You see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, so moving on, because these are the actual prompts, right? So as I mentioned, that bell hooks believe that love is not just a personal emotion, but a practice, a radical and political force that challenges domination and creates liberation. Writing for her was a way to speak truths and imagine new possibility. So what does love mean, right? We're talking about love. Um, she has the book all about love. If you folks haven't read it, okay. What does love mean to you beyond a romantic relationship, right? And have you ever seen truth or love act as a force to change your own life? And we're gonna get more into writing about resistance and whatnot. But I wanted you to guys to think about this question. Okay, we're going on to the next one, which is on breaking silence. And I'll ask you guys to share at the end. You have 5 more minutes. Okay, folks, we're moving on to the next one. 10 minutes as well. 5 more minutes. Okay, we're on to the next prompt. Okay, I think the 10 minutes are up for this one. Here's the next prompt. Three more minutes for this one. I think we completed 10 minutes on this one already, right? Our next prompt is resistance in everyday. 5 more minutes. Okay, and the final one, we're just gonna write for 5 minutes because I want to use the last few minutes of the workshop for everyone to share, whoever's comfortable with sharing. Okay, folks. Intense writing. How do we feel?
I have a cramp in my hand.
Good thing. It's a good thing. I came over here to write. Okay, so let's see. We had the first prompt. No me cae esta. Our first prompt was on breaking silence, where we wrote about a moment when you broke silence, whether personal, cultural, or systematic. Does anyone want to share on that first prompt? Or you know what? Share any prompt you want. Let's keep it open. Just let me know who wishes to share. Or if you have any reflections, any comments about.
I can speak on that one. So in 2011, I literally just up and left to Miami, and I was in a rough space, and I took the trip to live out there, just kind of reset and just realign myself with like how I'm living my life, what I want out of it, and how I wasn't in a good path. And so I spent a whole year out there. I felt great. It was a really, I needed that. And so when I came back to New York City, I had to like find work again. And my cousin's husband ended up having to like, I used to work in the hotel industry. So I got a job being a concierge at this in Times Square. It's called Yotel, like a Japanese hotel. And so I got the connection through my cousin-in-law, and did a phone interview. Then I did a two-manager interview in person. Then they put me in this like private room, and I spoke with the CEO like from London on like a video call, and went over my resume and how they love like how I'm creative. I'm also art, professional, all the stuff, all the variety that makes me me. And then afterwards, I went with the manager to go get my uniform suited, and I got the jacket. And so all over, I'm seeing their posts of like working at your hotel, we're about authenticity, embracing the changes. You should be able to feel yourself and all this positive. Like, wow, this is great. Like it really embraces like the uniqueness of who you are. And I even go through the training for like 2 hours. By the time it's time to do human resource, signing the contract that I'll be working, I noticed that girls were gonna wear the dress and then the guys were gonna wear just the jacket. And I got fitted for the jacket. So I said, I wanted to make clear that I will not be wearing the dress, the parachute dress, that I'll be wearing that. Oh, and then like she froze and kind of like, no, you have to wear it. And this was when I was more, when I was femme presenting before the transition. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't feel right in like in a dress, whatever. Talk to a manager. Two managers spoke and confirmed. Supervisor confirmed, like, hey, it has to be this way. Like that's just the rule. I'm like, okay. So then I have to go. I apologize to my cousin-in-law. I don't mean to make you feel bad, but it's just like I'm not gonna change to that. The last thing was I met with the last manager. It's like, why won't you do this? And I'm like, listen, you guys talk about uniqueness and embracing the changes and all this stuff, and I was for it until that part. Then that part is contradicting to what you're actually saying to employees who come in here. And he tried to convince me for like a good 30 minutes. And I was like, no, like that doesn't represent me. And if you want me to be me at my job, I won't be me in this dress. I called my cousin afterwards and she said, she was disappointed, like, damn, Mana, like, Naj really try to hook you up with this. Like, just take it, it's for the money. And I'm like, I felt like the universe was telling me, like, you went to Miami to reset yourself and come back with authenticity. And I felt like this was a test to whether I was going to self-betray or not. And I said, no, Mana, my integrity is more important than this. And I can find any job at any point. A month goes by and my cousin hits me up and she says, Mana, you have started a whole ruckus. Like the whole Yotel owner met with all the Yotels all over the world, had a meeting and everything. And they actually changed the uniform so it could be more neutral. And they changed that stuff out. So I was proud of that because I didn't stay quiet, you know what I mean? And I made a whole freaking company like change the way that they address like the whole gender role. I'm like, it's not, and I told my cousin, it's not about money or trying to be rebellious. Like, no, it's just being authentic to me and my integrity. And it's a contradicting, if they're contradicting in that, what else am I gonna get into that's gonna be contradictory to my authenticity? And I said no, and I'm proud because I was worried. I needed the job, and it was really good pay, but money or my integrity and my just who I am, the essence of me, am I gonna betray that? And that felt pretty powerful, and I'm proud of myself for that because it was scary. I was really struggling with money, but no, you can't
No.
buy me.
A testament to breaking silence, folks, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Mel resisted
yeah.
and stood his ground.
Mhm.
Thank you, Mel, for sharing. Is there anyone else who wants to share any of the prompts that they wrote? Did
I'd
anything
like
stick for you?
I'd like to share, Angie.
Go ahead, Ruth.
Uh,
Who was that?
oh,
Lila.
Lila.
Leila, go ahead.
Sí. Unless there's a stack.
No,
Um,
no, go
okay.
ahead.
So to the entity of yo no sé qué, porque realmente no sé cómo llamarte. Your name insidiously is bound in every evil action that distracts me from remembering, from noticing my life force and purpose. The force that displaced mommy at a time that she should have been enjoying the fruits of her years of study, like so many brilliant young hearts before and after. The right to cultivate the harvest of our labor has been taken from so many of us. I promise you that I am coming back for my inheritance. I will break the spell, the illusion of the American nightmare. To the entity que no tiene nombre, un río de lodo and concrete that drags any life with it, I promise you, I will reclaim my dreams and ingenuity. Watch me take these piernas de barro and wade through concrete. There's a reason why ciguapas tienen los pies al revés. Watch me make my way back to La Encantada and reclaim our manantiales. Chin a chin. Limpiaremos la basura y la mierda de los ríos. Watch como los ríos se llenan de agua. I call it back. All of my time and energy. All of my power to create. I am not asking for your permission. I will continue to make decisions that allow me to live outside of the margins. Wild tongues pierce into mountains. Maronaje. Did you know that the word maroon comes from the Taíno word, símara? Recuérdate. Remember, Lila, to not trade your life force with capitalist devils who cannot know peace, who only know consumption and greed. Remember that love and abuse cannot coexist. Como dice Bell Hooks, I promise to give up consumption of a system that has me eating ourselves and our children alive for an iPhone or una cartera de marca. China Chin, I will sweeten my life with honey and gratitude. I will center how we made it out, how we pulled ourselves out of a trance, China Chin, día a día, with every decision we make, every thought we seeded. Vámonos pa'l monte, donde afilamos nuestras herramientas y construimos nuestras propias casas. Cultivamos y cosechamos juntos. El conuco y sus responsabilidades se comparten. ¿Se recuerdan? I will center our survival strategies, las técnicas y prácticas que salvan nuestras vidas. I will celebrate that we have survived in spite of the fact that every day across our lineages, something has tried to kill us and failed. Can we remember how we got here? And let go of this lie that someone is coming to save us? This calls for us to change our relationship to ownership and initiative. Can we remember the power we have to create our own systems? Que como dijo Mamá Tingó y los minifundistas y campesinos que gritaron a través de los 60s y 70s, que la tierra es para quien la trabaja y no para quien se cree dueño. May we never forget our purpose in this moment, to continue the work of defying and marooning. Recuerda la promesa que me hiciste. Nos veremos en el monte. Thank you, everybody.
I love this, Leela. Oh my goodness. Thank you for
Yes.
sharing that. That was
Wow.
beautiful. If you haven't been reading the comments in the chat, please do. And I encourage you guys, if there's any piece that you complete and you want to share with DWA, we will post it on our Substack. So just send it to me at info@Dominican Writers, and I'll be more than happy to share widely. I'm going to do like every salon is, I'm going to include like a writing work, a call for submission. So if there's anything that you complete in the writer salon that you want to share, we will post it on our Substack as part of the writer salon pieces that you guys create. I believe, Rosita, you wanted to share something?
Yes, I'd like to share my letter to a system of oppression. Dear capitalism, I can start by saying how much I love you, that I can't get rid of you. I love shopping for myself and those I love. I love having money in my purse. I love the sound of brand new crisp dollars in my hands. I love the things I buy. I love the work I do to earn a living. I love the transportation that takes me to work from door to door. I feel like a queen. But really, capitalism, I do not like the unfairness of the system you have created. I do not like you. I do not like that you do not give everyone equal access to the joys that you bring. I do not like the cruelty that you allow certain groups to perpetrate on other groups. Take, for example, slavery and the subjugation of women, etc. If it weren't for the free labor that slavery provided and the free labor of women, the whole society will collapse. Don't forget, dear capitalism, the economic systems come and go. You are but one system in the whole planet, and already other systems have mushroomed. Oh boy, I lost my place. Another system have mushroomed and thrived like socialism, where everyone shares, and mongrone, I'm not sure of that spelling, a democratic monetary system in which workers own the corporation and collectively decide what to do with the surplus. You're on the way out, capitalism. I can get all the things I love about you without the cruelty, the rejection, the decimation of other groups, and the subjugation of women. See you later, alligator.
Thank you. Thank you, Rosita. Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to share?
Can I share, Angie?
Who's that? Judy? Yes.
Yeah,
Ruth, you're
yeah.
next.
This is connected to Lila. Lila, I mean,
I think she left. Oh,
no, I
she's
see
there,
her,
but she
her
said,
box
Estamos
still.
aquí, estamos aquí.
she said she has to go.
Yeah, but it's connected to Lila's. I was like, yes, girl, yes, yes, yes. All right. So this is a letter to the isms. First off, fuck you. Y'all thought that generations of lies, lifetimes would keep us asleep. Nah. The song of our ancestors is loud and ancestral chords mighty. This is a collective call for us. En el quilombo, en los bohíos, en el monte, nos preparamos al margen, como dice la tía Hooks. Nos organizamos. We have codes too. The beat of the drums, the bling, bling, bling of the strings, el tumbao en los pies, the shimmying of our shoulders, the whine of our hips herald the awakening. We bring Chango energy. El Egua waits for us at the crossroads with all the keys to the house. We're coming for you under cover of night. Oya readying her realm, an army for your ultimate demise. Oshun, ay Dios mío. Oshun lays sunflowers along the battle path, as well as anoints us with sweet honey, porque les vamos a caer como colmena de avispa, de la que pican y no mueren. Yemayá lo espera, lifting her sea foam skirt, and will swallow you whole. It will swallow you whole. Her womb, your watery grave.
Wow. Thank you, Judy. Love that. Thank you. Ruth, you're next.
Okay, here goes nothing. I wrote about love. Like, what does love mean to you? I don't know if I followed the prompt correctly, but okay. The moment my son Rocco came into this world, I understood love in one fell swoop, instantaneously. He saw light and I saw it too. I also understood postpartum depression because what do you mean that my heart can just burst open like this with such veracity? It was all too much, too overwhelming. Nothing else before or after mattered anymore. But let's go back a little bit. Rocco, my son, was not breathing when he finally came about after 2 days of labor. I knew something was wrong. I continued to say so, but was made to believe that it was all in my head. Things were not going well. I couldn't fall asleep without his heart rate going down. I kept saying this. I was told that that was impossible. Anyway, Rocco indeed was not breathing. In fact, they handed me a stiff child. I could tell you that he looked like a doll, like the ceramic baby Jesus that you place in the nativity scene. However, it was worse than that. It felt like a cold, wet, slippery rock was placed on my chest. Could they not see that this is not a person alive? It took them a minute, but when they did finally notice, panic ensued everywhere. Meanwhile, God and I were way ahead of them. I had already decided that I was prepared to die right there on that bed, without hesitation, in exchange for my son's life. In fact, I demanded it. I thought that I knew love. How naive of me. In that moment, I discovered a complete love. For the first time, I loved unconditionally. I wanted nothing from him, my son, but for him to simply live. But there's a little bit more. I go on a little bit. Years later, 3 years ago, my husband came home in the middle of the night. Can you guys hear my kids in the background?
No.
Okay, they're very loud. I think Zoom is tuning them out. Okay. 3 years ago, my husband came home in the middle of the night from an extended after work happy hour and woke me up by yelling my name from the front door. I woke up in a panic. First, because my 2-year-old and my 6-month-old were asleep and I didn't want them to wake up like this. And secondly, because we were a week away from our 13-year anniversary. And in all those years, I never felt afraid or unsafe in our relationship until that night. I didn't know it at that moment, but it would be the last night that my children and I would spend in that apartment. My husband called me with such haste simply to let me know that he doesn't love me anymore. I have this following sentence carved into my heart for the rest of my life, and I think that no amount of therapy, grieving, healing will ever erase it. He said, "Everybody loves you, but I don't love you." I tell you this to tell you this too. The next day, I tried to talk to him because, after all, I did still love him. But he would not have it. He did not want to talk. So I packed a reusable supermarket bag with some diapers, some wipes, a change of clothes. I took my 2-year-old to daycare, and I went to stay at my parents' house with my 6-month-old. I didn't pack anything else because I thought my husband would eventually call to beg us to come back home. 3 years later, I'm still here at my parents', getting my life back in order, saving up for a house of my own. Okay, but I tell you this to tell you this too. In all this time, my younger brother has had a second relationship with a girl he had a second child with that also ended. She moved out of his house, I think, and he has been very sad. My parents have been so worried about him. He's a gentle soul. In fact, my mother asked me to please give him a lot of grace during this very difficult time in his life. I said, "I see, mommy, claro. It must be very difficult for him right now." My mother is the same woman who finally grew tired of asking me why I ever left my husband in the first place. Why couldn't I just ignore what he said? Ay, pero los hombres dicen cosas así todo el tiempo. Y tú le vas a hacer caso. Él es un hombre. Él es un buen hombre. No te lleves de eso. There's more, but I think it's very long, so I'm going to leave it there.
Thank you.
Leave it at my
Finish
mom's
that.
quote.
Finish that. Okay.
Finish it?
that, please.
It's just one more paragraph. I'm going to look at. See, I'm okay now with the question, with this question that my mom asked me. I'm never going back. I am better, stronger, grounded. I'm aware that my destiny was this one. That when my husband walked in that day yelling my name in a delirium to tell me that our marriage is over, it was all meant to happen that way because I am exactly the woman that I was always meant to be. And I would have never been that person while I was still married. I was raised to believe that marriage was my defining factor. I was 23 years old when I got married. I went from living with my parents to living with my husband to becoming a mother and back again to my parents' house with my 2 kids. I am a product of a patriarchal society that built me to be this and then judged me for it every step of the way. Yet in spite of it all, I am freer now than I was ever before. I resist, and I don't give a damn that my mother thinks I should have stayed with a husband that doesn't love me. I don't give a damn about any of it anymore. The other day it fell upon me like a nice cool waterfall. I am free. Every cent, every penny I make, I decide what to do with it. Every second of my life, I decide what to do with it. I am free. That's it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes. I think so many
Woo.
of us relate to that.
Thank you, guys.
Anyone else wishes to share? Esther, you don't want to share? John, Veronica?
I'll share.
Hey, April, that was you?
That was me.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, it's my first time here. I've got a couple of
Welcome.
mine.
Welcome. Hope you
Thank
come
you.
back.
Thanks, I will. This is the most productive little time I've spent in time since I can remember. This is rigorous and dope. Thanks so much for having me. I responded to prompt number 3, and I was addressing capitalism, and I wrote, "You cannot undo what my people have done, built, created, won. You can't swipe the Tuskegee Airmen and WASP ancestors from the air. You cannot make people of color disappear. Even with all the power of distraction at your call and all the money, folks, we will not let y'all. Oh, my son just come in here. Over my shoulder. Where'd you come from? Oh my gosh. I'm all like disimportant. Oh, thank you, Matthias. Thank you, Matthias. He kind of like distracted me or whatever. But anyway, that's the sense of it. I'm leaving.
You done?
I'm leaving. I didn't quite finish, but I kind of got like mucked up because my son just decided to come
Got it,
on my
got it.
right shoulder, like my conscience or something, right? Kind of distracted me. But in any event, I'll work on this and that's it. I was just kind of
Yes, please.
responding to the DEI stuff going on and the civil rights stuff going on and how like the Air Force yesterday I was reading about how they took away the Tuskegee Airmen from the training videos for new recruits and so on. And I just feel really, really angry. And
Insane.
I you know, I'm just I'm angry and I'm saying that we're not going anywhere, that we're going to resist with force, essentially. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for everyone that has to go. Thank you for attending. We're here every Sunday. I forgot to share our WhatsApp group for our members who want to receive more information about opportunities and whatnot. Anyone else wants to share?
Hello.
Who was that?
Me, Jennifer.
Oh, hi, Jennifer.
I responded to think of a time when your voice, story, or identity was erased or misunderstood, etc. I suffer from thinking that I am being misunderstood all the time, so here it goes. I am the only daughter and the youngest of 3 siblings. My mom jokingly reminds the dinner guest how, as a child, I used to say that my brothers treated me like a dog, that they wouldn't play with me or talk to me, that I was alone. Desde siempre ha sido dramática. This is her attempt to turn down the temperature after my brother and I get into our usual Thanksgiving dinner fight. He says he doesn't believe in climate change, that these things happen naturally, as we discuss the unusually warm temperature on the day. He says, how can we trust scientists? How do we even know the earth is round? And I call him an irresponsible breeder. And he loses it. Tú eres una estúpida. If you hate the system so much, why don't you just go live in the woods? I wish it were that easy. Right, because you and your people don't know how to do anything. You want everything to be handed to you. Their Scorpio stinger rattles behind my head and strikes. You are my people, maldito burro. And before he can get another word in, how about you shut the fuck up? Cállese, 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 cállate. He shrinks. And I consider stepping on him like a bug, like an infestation that has been plaguing me my whole life. I want to light his ass on fire, literalmente. Your people, your people. I am the only girl. I am the youngest. 2 months go by before I speak to my mother. Tú siempre has sido así, una huraña. I tell her I don't know what that means and I hang up the phone. I Google, what is huraña? Quote, someone not willing to communicate or interact with the outside world, whose life seems to be confined to solitude. No, Mom, yo no soy huraña. It's just that I am not your people.
That's it, Jennifer? Thank you for sharing that. And what's up with that hate from that was your brother? Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
He got dragged into the whole Trump world's
Oh,
red
he's one of
bull.
those Dominicans.
He one
Okay.
of those. He got the giant America
Well,
flag in front of
let's
his
just
car.
hope that none of these executive orders affect your brother. But if it does, what they say is fuck around and find out. Right? Okay, folks, I am going to end this workshop. Thank you so much for staying. It is 11:47. It's difficult times. Continue writing, please continue writing. And if there's anything that you want to share with me, you could just email me at info@DominicanWriters. Lila, finish that. Ruth, all of you who shared, if you want to send anything our way for our Substack, let us know. The first Writer Salon Substack newsletter is coming out today. So yeah, I'm excited about that. We're gonna start doing some stuff. I encourage you all to write, create a Substack and write. Judy, you need one if you don't have one already. You and Mel, come on, guys. We have so much.
That's my plan.
We have to do this work. Okay.
That's my plan.
So enjoy. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Thank you for joining us today, and see you next week.
Thank you, Angie. Thank you, everyone who shared.